Yo, what's going on, everybody? Waiting for a brand new reaction video for you guys today. Doing reaction to my own video from FC24 around the same time we're in right now, team of the season. Now, before we get things started, I just recorded this entire freaking like reaction, like a good 6 minutes, and didn't even notice that I didn't hit the record button. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. So before we get into things, what I do want to say is if you want to see me react to some of my older videos, feel free to go through my older videos and watch some things and be like, all right, I like this. Can you react to this video from 24 or 25? You want to see how things change between that game and this game. If you want to do that, you can. This video had over 200 and some views on it, and not a lot of likes, but some good likes on it. So I was like, you know what, let's look at this one and see what it was talking about. It's an advice video, so we'll see what we go into. What the advice is about, and go from there. I'm kind of mad that we freaking did hit the record button, because that's some freaking dimes in there. Brand new video for you guys today, and welcome to the channel. Hope you're having a good day. Hope you're good, smelling good. Hope you had a good weekend league. I hope you all got some good rewards out of your rival packs as well. So today's video, I want to have a little discussion video. There'll be gameplay in the background while we have this little discussion video. Just some live recording in the background. I want to talk about a lot of the advice people give around this game, and a lot of the tips people give around this game. This is going to be like the most honest. I'm just going to title it the most honest advice you'll ever get when it comes to playing FC24. And that advice is your formation, your tactics are all going to be generic. They're all going to be pretty much the exact same. People you're going against, everyone's pretty much playing the exact same tactical style. Now we're saying this in 24. FC24, we're making this comment. We're in 26 and it's the exact same thing. Everyone's playing the exact same way, the exact same tactics, the exact same formations, 4-4-1-1, 4-5-1, 4-4-2. And then there's like maybe here and there you'll see like whatever the flavor of the week is for Nick, you'll see that being played. Difference between now and then is back then there was more options for your tactics, whereas now is way more simplistic. So you shouldn't focus too much on your formation and your tactics if you're someone who's losing games, because a lot of people feel there's this placebo effect. They feel like, oh, I'm losing games, it must be my formation. Let me go to YouTube and see what Inception says about the best formation, or now Weezy says about the best formation, or what Nick or Boris about the best formation. Every formation in this game. So the gist here is this community is very reactionary. Whenever something happens in game, people immediately just react to it, and not necessarily in a rational way. If someone loses the game, they feel like, okay, I'm not this bad at the game, so therefore my formation's the issue. YouTube. Okay, Inception posted a new 4-4-1-1. Let me copy that and use it. Okay, I still lost. Okay, let me go to somebody else. Now Weezy posted a video for 4-4-2. All right, okay, I don't like that. I'm putting in this conversation. Hey, these tactics are awful. I lost 3 straight games in a row with your tactics. And when people do things like that, notice what they're not doing. They're not taking any kind of accountability at all for themselves. If they lost a game, it has to be the tactics that are a problem, the formation that are a problem, or going to blame something that their opponent's doing for why they lost that game. They're using Van de Ven, they're using Pena, whatever. It can't, it's an ego team. It can't be that I had a bad game, or this person's better than me, or someone got lucky. Sometimes you just lose because another person got lucky. When I say placebo effect, people will change their tactics and then they'll win. They'll win that first game or win that second game and go, this is amazing. Then they go on like a 3-game losing streak and it's like, oh, this is trash. Let me change my tactics. And the gist of this conversation is you have to learn how to play the game. You have to learn your tactics. You have to learn how to make things work, right? And when you don't learn how to make things work, you end up not figuring out like you're weak. Like when you see someone like me or like Bobinho play the 4-3-3, we know the 4-3-3's weaknesses. So therefore, we know how to counteract what that formation's weaknesses are going to be. If you don't know how to play the 4-3-3, you're going to copy Bobinho's tactics or whoever's tactics, and then get mad because you allow 4 goals on counterattack. Now understanding that, hey, this formation is very, 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 very hard to defend in unless you are someone who's good at manual defending. If you're someone who relies on AI to defend for you, you're going to allow a lot of goals. People don't want to get that into their head because everyone thinks they're still good at the game. Everyone thinks they're so amazing at the game. Like, nah, it's not the fact that I can't manual defend. It's just bad tactics. But he went 15-0 3 straight times. Nah, he has easy matchmaking. Or the denominator is you just aren't as good at the game as they think you are. Find a tactic formation that works for you, and you're gonna have to spend more than 3 games with it. To quote Boris was trying to learn formation last year, and he was like, I want to spend an entire weekend with this formation. I'm not changing it at all. I want to spend the entire weekend with it. That's dedication to learning how to play the game with that formation. Not, I'm going to play just 3 games, and if I don't win all 3 games, it's ass. Game will be a struggle for you if you don't actually try and improve the game yourself. So my advice would be to find 2 formations that you really like, that you really enjoy playing. Let's say, you know, you enjoy playing the 4-3-2-1, make that your attack formation. You enjoy playing the 4-3-3, make that your defensive formation. So take those 2 formations, you know, do whatever tactics you're going to do for those formations, and just stick with those 2 formations to get used to them. There's no sense in you constantly changing your formation if you aren't used to playing the style of that formation. I said it before in the previous video. Style of play is a big deal. If you're someone who, you know, again, this isn't to insult anybody, but if you're someone who doesn't know how to do build up, you shouldn't be trying to copy paste someone's tactics that are based around them being who are good at build up. You can't, your play style, like, people kind of ignore that this is a thing. A lot of us have different play styles. Watch my videos, I do a lot of passing. I'm a very prime Barcelona style person where it's like just pass, control the ball, control the tempo of the game. You know, you'll see me run up the freaking flanks with my winger, not do a cutback, but just do a pass to the midfield to you know, get people to move around and then pass. You see me even on defense, I'm passing the ball around my defenders. All of my players have to have passing play styles because I just do a lot of passing. Another person, one trick pony, just go ahead and just do one pass up the freaking flanks, do a cutback, score a goal. Just keep it simple. That's it. You know, or it's like me, I'm trying to break the opponent down. I'm trying to do like, and you watch Inception, same thing. He tries to do the exact same thing. Watch Nick, same thing. That's why Nick values low driven more than finesse, because he's not trying to do a run down a freaking flames, cut back into a fucking finesse, and then go from there. He wants to break it down and make it fun for you to watch him play football. You know, we all have different play styles. So if my play style and your play style is different, let's say I do a video with a 4-3 bracket 2, and someone goes, bro, can you show your tactics? And I show them my tactics in the next video, and they go, I use that and I had a hard time, this is ass. It's like, well, it's not information that's ass. Not to be rude, but if your playstyle and my playstyle are the same, results may vary. You know, I've seen content creators who want to like try out something new, so they'll switch to the 4-2-4, and they don't know how to play the 4-2-4 the way that is meant to be played, or to its best extent, and they'll get wrecked and think that it's the formation's fault when it's not. It's a skill issue. You need to learn how to play the 4-2-4. You know, and it's like a video I saw before. Someone was talking about you shouldn't play the 4-3-2-1 if you're new to the game. Just play a 4-4-2 and get used to the game from there, because 4-2-4-2 is a good, you know, starting template for a defensive heavy formation that also has, you know, 2 strikers for offense. So you can't just focus on changing your formation all the time. Find 2 that work that you like, stick with it, and go from there. The reason why that's important is because from there you can ignore, if you're someone who's struggling, want to learn how to get better at the game, you can ignore, you know, okay, my formation is a problem. You can ignore that. You can push that to the side and ignore it. You can even push aside your tactics, because again, most people are playing the exact same tactics. Most people have either 2 other fullbacks on step-back overlap, or 1 fullback on step-back overlap with the other on joint attack or balance. Most people are having their strikers stay forward, stay central, and get in behind. That's for every formation. Most people have their wingers either on comeback, or 3 years later, it's still the same, even more simplified. Back then, there was more options on like how you did your like tactics. There was just more, like literally just more things you could select. Now there's since EA wants to make the game easier and simpler, because of like, you know, FC IQ and roles, pretty much every formation is the same when it comes to what people are selecting. When it comes to defense, defend. Fullbacks, fullback defend. Some folk like myself, whenever I use fullbacks, I use fullback versatile, but I also use freaking inverted wingback. But most people, you know, the majority of the community just use fullback defend. When it comes to your DNs, what everybody did, they just use DOP buildup, nothing else. Every now and then someone might use box crasher, like myself, Nick, sometimes freaking Inception. But for most people when it comes to community, DOP buildup. When it comes to CMs, everyone's on freaking on mouse box. Cams, Hitmaker or Shadow Striker. No one needs this class at 10. Wingers, inside forward. Usually balanced. No one that people rarely use freaking the other options. When it comes to striker, everyone's on advanced forward. People rarely use freaking poacher or target forward. Now every now and then you see someone who use false 9, but it's only if they're using like a 2 striker formation. So even 3 years later, it's basically exactly the same when it comes to everyone's just using the exact same tactics, no matter if they change information or not. You can be playing a 3-back or a 5-back or a 4-back, and for the most part, everyone's still using the exact same tactical layout. On balance with cut inside and getting behind, like it's all generic. Everyone's running the exact same tactics. Midfield, one person is gonna stay back. Someone else is gonna be on get forward. Someone else is gonna be on balance. It's all the same. Like you're gonna see those tactics for instructions at least on pretty much every formation in the game. When it comes to like the other tactics, you might see someone go 65 or 72 when it comes to death, and like it's, for the most part, it's all going to be exactly the same. So you can ignore that too, so you can focus on actually getting better at the year, Alexandria. So how do you get better at the team of the season? As I always say, most situations in the season, Odegaard skill issue. I say in my video, you got some classics in that. You saw Alexandria team of the year Odegaard, team of the year Julian Alvarez, team of the year Sawa. No, team of the season. Sorry, team of the season. Sawa's team of the year. Sorry, but you know that was the Odegaard SBC. That was like super good. Got team of the season. I think that's honorable mentions. Team of the season. Martinelli. When I'm struggling, I'm having a hard time with my shots, I go skill issue. You know, I don't rate myself as being like some great player, so I will openly state, you know, a better player would have scored that, a better player would have defended against that, a better player would have did that. A lot of people aren't getting better at this game because they're relying on AI to help them out. They're two-man pressing out the gate because they don't know how to defend. You know, they're playing with a high line. That's the exact same thing right now. Everyone's just constant pressure, two-man press, second the game freaking starts, relying on AI defense. People like to act like 26 is the first game to have like crazy AI defending. It's always been that way. You know, it's just back in the day, the AI for attacking was good enough to compensate for the fact that defense is also good. So like you think like FIFA 17 and earlier, it was still the same way, but they had good attacking AI. Whereas like post 19, the attacking AI got shit. You just had strong defensive AI, then bad attacking AI. So it made that defending AI way more exacerbated when it comes to noticing it, because you're not seeing the balance there at all. You know, and even when it comes to like, you know, this is just me being self-deprecating. Back then, I was very, very against giving myself credit on being like good at the game. You know, even like now, I will say that because there's brackets to this. Relax. There's pro players, elite players, great players, amazing players. Then there's just good players, better than average and then average. I'm in that good tier, right? Back then, I saw myself as just being a casual. And I will always say this when it comes to my reviews, was like, if I'm doing this as a above average or a good player, imagine someone who's amazing at the game or a pro player can do with these exact players. And we see that. If you go back to my older videos, every women's player right now who's meta, I told you was good back at 24. Enya, Caroline, Nicole, Patrick Haro, all of them. Laura Mateo, everyone got on that wagon last year. Every single meta women's player, I've been telling y'all for 3 years that they're good. Because I'm not, you know, an elite player, it gets ignored. Because they don't believe in themselves and being able to get the ball back any other way. So you have to analyze your gameplay, analyze what you're doing wrong to get better. You know, analyze what you need to work on, analyze what, you know, your opponents are doing that's working against you. This is, and right here when it comes to this is very good advice to like look at your own gameplay and see what happened there. I don't know if Mitch is already, because again, this is the second time we're recording this. But a lot of people, when it comes to losing, yes, you can lose in this game by pure luck. Yes, you can lose in this game because people are abusing the meta. But I feel like when it comes to those kind of games, losing by luck or losing by because someone's just abusing the mechanics, was usually like a 1 point, like a 1 goal game or 2 goal game. You're getting like throttled 5-1, 6-2, 7-1. You didn't lose because someone was abusing mechanic. You lost because you faced someone who's just better than you, or you did something wrong in that game. Like, an example. Nick RTFM had a video where he lost 7-1, and he played against an all-evil team. Instead of being like, damn, my defense was ass that game, I defended poorly. I watched the video. He defended poorly. Go watch that video. He defended that video poorly. But instead of being like, I played that game poorly, what did he do? He said, evils are broken and they're ruining the game. You know, and that creates a narrative that other people are like, hey, when I lose, it's evil's fault. People love to grab onto an excuse. People don't want to be accountable for anything. So they see someone who's better than them at the game, see evils are a problem. So now they think evils are a problem too, because now if they lose, it's the evil's fault, right? It happens with a lot of things. Someone loses to freaking Pena, women are ruining the game. And it's like, maybe the issue isn't the evils or Pena or women, it's you. You need to watch your own gameplay and see what you were doing wrong. Again, I know how the game works. You know, when it comes to there's all these things in gameplay like server lag, I'm gonna say DVD is not a real thing. Delay. You know, there's so much things that can happen. Like you can be playing the game and your players are running in mud. All these things are true. But again, you're going to lose to a player worse than you by 1 goal or 2 goals, not by 5 goals. You know. And we watch my videos, you almost never hear me use a player as an excuse for why I lose a game or why I'm having a hard time. It used to be saying like, if it's an AI is carrying people, you hear me saying freaking a 4-for-1 is carrying people, but you won't hear me go, this guy's only in this game because of Pena. This guy's only winning this game or tying this game because of Vandeven. Because one player's not going to dictate the outcome of the freaking game. You know? And at the end of the day, if I'm good enough, I'll find a way. And it goes for everyone. If you're good enough, you'll find a way. But sometimes things happen. And sometimes, you know, it's not the game scripted. Sometimes things just don't go your way. Those times are close games. If you're getting blown out, you just had a bad game where you didn't do something right. Because generally, if something's working against you, everyone's going to notice it and everyone's going to do it. And like, it's not hard to notice, okay, this person struggles to defend on the left side. Just keep attacking the left. This person struggles to defend the middle, attacking the middle. This person struggles to defend on the right, keep attacking the right. This person struggles against crosses, keep doing crosses. People who who are good at the game are going to notice that. And when it comes down to the player base, majority of the player base is at that middle position. You know, majority of the player base isn't in elite division or in Div 1. Majority of the player base is somewhere between 7 and 6. That's generally the average. That's how it is in most games. If you're not someone who plays this game, if you're someone who plays shooters, for example, think of 7 and 6 as silver and gold. So like you're playing Rainbow Six Siege or Halo, Call of Duty, Valorant, whatever. Think of 7 and 6 for this game as silver and gold. Majority of the player base in any video game is always at that level, the silver and gold area, Division 7, Division 6. There are people who are still struggling. They're at Div 10, Div 8, whatever. Understand that there's 11 divisions technically for this game. There's Div 10 up to Elite Division. Elite Division is your 11th rank essentially. So most of the player bases aren't even getting past Div 6. So there's a lot of people who would have good teams. Mind you, EA has this data, by the way. That's how we know what these numbers are. The average FC player doesn't win more than 6 games. So if you win more than 6 games of champs, is what I'm referring to when I say 6 games. You're above average when it comes to chance, because the average player doesn't win more than 6. When it comes to rivals, the average player doesn't get higher than around Div 6, Div 7, which is why challengers is the way it is, because EA is telling you this is where the average cutoff is at, right? Because they have the data that shows them where everyone's at. So they feel like the average player is about Div 7, so let's make a mode called challengers for the average player and go from there. In the Div 6 area or in the Div 7 area, and they don't know why they can't get higher up, so they feel like it's their team, it's their formation. It's not your formation, it's not your team, it's you. If you're playing this game in May and you have 91 rated players across the board, even on your bench and things like that, the issue isn't your players. You know, every player in this game at that level is going to be a good player who can get things done. If you're a good player, like there's players out there who, there's gamers out there who use like, you know, gold cards and May and still win games because they're good players. Then you watch these content creators who are like, yeah, I started my weekend league 8-0 using the 4141, and it's like, and that tells the viewers, oh, I should use a 4141, and it's like, this person who you're watching, they go 20-0 every weekend. You know, at worst, they have 16 wins and 4 losses here and there, but usually they're 14-0 every weekend. This is someone who is usually having a lot of success in this game. Them playing the 4141 or them playing the 424 or them playing the 41212 or what information that they're telling you that video is why they won 8 games, 10 games, whatever. They're going to do that no matter what formation they're playing. They're good players. That's what good players do. Good players have success regardless of what tools that they're using. Again, using FPS games as an example, because I'm someone who primarily plays FPS games, I can do good in an FPS game with any weapon. Yeah, it doesn't matter what weapon it is. I'm not gonna make a video telling you, hey, this pistol is the best gun in the game. I got 3 aces in 3 separate games with this pistol. It's like, it's a gun. You just shoot it and it does things. You know, it's a compliment to you, the player, and your skill. So yeah, you're gonna get those kills regardless of what weapon you're using. Doesn't mean the weapon is like insane, but someone's gonna watch that video and be like, all right, I guess I'll use a pistol, and they'll get steamrolled and be like, yo, this video's trash, you liar, this gun sucks. The same thing comes to tactics. I've seen people freaking, you know, say that they on someone's video things like either Nowizy or Inception, they're like, these tactics don't work. You know, I went 0-5 in weekend league. These are terrible. And it's like, it's not the tactics or the formation that's the reason why you lost. It's you. You have to get better, and you have to figure out what it is about your play style, about your game that prevents you from getting better. What aren't you doing? What are you doing? Because sometimes it's what you're doing that hurts more than what you're not doing. Again, if you're someone who relies way too much on the 2-man press, you know, right bumper pressing, that might open you up for a lot of chances to lose games. Because if someone's good at defending against it, let's say someone, you know, they know to just do some right back, some fullback switches, and they know to like what passes to make to deal with the 2-man press, and now they're scoring on you at will because, you know, you have holes in your defense because one of your players is out of position. One of your players is able to mark that guy because he's out of position, or you 2-man press the wrong person, so now, you know, they're in your attacking half and you 2-man press and pulled out your corner, your center back, and now there's a hole for someone to just do a through ball, and now they scored. So you have to learn how to actually manually defend in order to get better at defense. You have to learn positioning and how to keep people in their positions when it comes to playing defense. So you have to look at what you're doing and what you're not doing as a way to get better at the game, not just copy paste tactics, copy paste formations, and copy paste instructions and go, okay, this should work. And then it doesn't, now you're mad. Or it does for 2 games, then you lose your 3rd game, and now you're like, okay, this sucks, but I'm gonna try something new. You have to get used to what the formation that you're playing. You have to get used to the tactics that you're using. You have to get used to what your team is doing in game with what you set them to do. You can't just keep changing things up. Like I said, generally, when it comes to me, I use 2 formations generally. Not every single time, but usually it's around, like, at any given point in time, there's 2 formations that I'm like focused on. You had to Cesar Ramirez. What card that was? I have all my formations like set up so I can use if I wanted to use them, but usually it's 2. So the videos you watching lately, this video, any video you watched, you know, in the last couple of weeks, have been the 4-3-2-1 and the 4-1-4-1. I start games off in a 4-1-4-1, and then if I feel like, you know, I'm having a hard time, I feel like, you know, I need to get a little more attack going, or I feel like my opponent is, you know, having an easier time, then I'll switch to my 4-3-2-1 to see if that helps out. And sometimes, you know, I will throw a 3rd one in there as well. This video in particular, using a 4-3-3 and, you know, the 4-1-4-1 as my backup. So I'll start taking them off in the 4-3-3, see, because I want to see how it plays out in this current meta. And if it seems like I'm having a hard time, I'll switch to 4-1-4-1. And that's very generic freaking like advice right there, by the way. You go watch Neil, guys, he'll tell you the same thing. He'll tell you his little videos that he does for like the weekly freaking formations. He'll tell you like, oh, I'll start off with, you know, such and such. You want to have a lead, I'll switch to this. And it's like, why are you switching? It's not because he's having a hard time. It's, all right, I got a 4-goal lead or 3-goal lead. let's play smart and be a little bit more defensive because I now have this lead, right? The top echelon of players do that a lot. They're actually using the end game, switching for their tactics when they have a lead or they need a lead. So they need goals. They'll switch to their attacking formations. They can try to press more up the field. And this is why it's important to learn how to actually utilize your team and how to utilize your formations instead of just copy pasting. If you know how you're if you ignore the meta, for example, when it comes to players, you just learn how your players move, how your players work. You will learn their weaknesses and their strengths. You will know what shots they can and can't make. Where they're remember for the longest time when it came to me on YouTube, people will be like, isn't the fact that you use a lot of women's players a problem when it comes to their size? They fear that I will be open to crosses and losing the ball in the air. And it's even during 24 where crossing was freaking super meta, I didn't have a lot of issues with that because I understood what my team was weak against. I made sure the best of my ability to not give up corners. I made sure to be even better and more efficient at defending when it came to seeing someone whose game plan, because again, just pay attention to what people are doing, whose game plan was to just run up the freaking flanks and then cross, because that was a meta during 24 and 25. So if I knew that was my team's weakness, I would try to play against it. People still score here and there because it's a video game. If people want to score, which again, to quote someone who's better than I am, you're going to give up goals. There's people who are elite players who give up goals to bad players because it's a video game. All it takes a through ball or finesse shot to score. One which is I built this team to be more used to and go from there. And if I'm losing, I might go to the 4-3-2-1 because it's the old reliable. The 4-3-2-1 is just the old reliable. The reason why everyone uses it because it's the meta. A lot of people make these tactic videos. They tell you, here's the meta tactics for this formation or that formation. The only meta tactic that exists is the 4-3-2-1. That is the meta. That is the old reliable. That is the one that people go to when they're struggling. It's the one people go to when they're trying hard, they're doing their road to glory and things like that, and trying to win in elite division. They're always going to go to the 4-3-2-1 because if they can rely on that's the meta. Someone makes you a video and it says 4-3-3 meta tactics. It's not meta. It's not the 4-3-2-1. They just put the word meta tactics in the video so you can click on it because they know that you, the viewer, who is not a great player, is going to click on it because you want to become a great player. So they put the word meta tactics in all their videos, even though the tactic itself is actually meta. Because a meta is the 4-3-2-1. When it comes to actual instructions, again, everyone's running the exact same instructions no matter what tactic that they're showing you. Generally, when it comes to instructions, it might be one or two things that's different. Again, whether or not one of your fullbacks is on join attack or stay behind.
Rafa Marquez, my goat.
One of the midfielders is
just buy his card.
Get forward, and that's pretty much it. Generally, they're all exactly the same. Even when it comes to your actual tactics, those are usually all the same. It's usually 40-65, 45 to 50, 5 in a box, personal choice for your free kicks and corners. It's all usually exactly the same. The only formation that's meta is a 4-3-2-1. And if you don't want to play that, you don't have to, because you can have success without that formation. Because at the end of the day, a better player is going to win games, no matter what position he's playing. He put players in, no matter what formation he's using, no matter what tactics he's using. Good players are going to find a way to win. It's just how it is. So look at yourself. Stop being a baby back bitch when it comes to
it is true. That is a very, very true thing. If you let's say you could decide, hey, I want to play the 4-2-4.
If you play the 4-2-4 and you have a hard time, it's not that the 4-2-4 is just some awful formation. It's just you yourself aren't good enough to use it. There's people out there who are in elite with that using that formation. They'll tell you I've not switched at all. If you can't run the 4-3-3 bracket 2 or the 4-3 bracket 3 or whatever formation, there's someone out there who runs the formation perfectly freaking fine. Because they're good enough at the game or good enough with that formation, they figure it out enough to have success with it. And you gotta find what works for you. There's people out there who, as meta as the 4-4-1 is, as meta as it is when it comes to the 4-5-1, and as broken as we view certain formations, there's people out there who try to use those formations and just cannot fly for them do well with it for whatever reason. That's what you need to be doing to improve. What skills do you need to learn? What players do you think would you want on your team that actually fits your play style? Don't just go get whatever the meta players are. Get players who fit your play style. If you can't afford them, look for budget options. Look at players who are damn near the exact same but are cheaper. Need a CDM? Look for a CDM who's under freaking 60K, who has great stats, and people people are always saying, hey, they're really good. If you need if you're on a budget, you need a winger, striker, all the exact same thing. And that's the most honest advice you'll get. That's the most honest advice you'll get. Everyone else is going to tell you, the sun is shining and you should just play this formation and tactic and you'll win. That's not the truth. Because again, good players are going to win with every formation in the game. People who are in that Div 6 and below area, you're not going to win with every formation that's in the game. You need to find one that you like, maybe find two that you like. One you rely on for its attacking formation, one you rely on your defending formation, and go from there. Stick with those two and learn how to actually play the game, learn how to manually defend, learn how to pass the ball around, don't rely on crosses, learn how to play the game, learn how to do skill moves. And then you'll start seeing yourself get better. And again, this is the most important part. Look at your own gameplay and see what you're doing wrong. When you watch content creators, you're seeing our mistakes because it's right in front of your face.
And look at that movement from, like, this is off topic, but look at how Robin is turned right there. That turn in 26 will be stiff. In this game, 26 has better freaking less sticking than 24. But for whatever reason, like, you go play right now. You try to do that exact same kind of movement with Ramen, it will be stiffer. You have less space because the game now doesn't give you as look how much space I have in this game. Just look at the space between Rafa Marquez right there. It's my DM space. Horn has space, aka heaps. Everyone, it's like you see the person. There's a decent amount of space. Or it's like now there would be like 3 people surrounding freaking heaps. Pass ball to Marquez, 3 people surround Marquez.
Gameplay and see what you're doing wrong.
But the way she's moving, you don't move that smooth in 26, even though the game has better less sticking.
You watch content creators, you're seeing our mistakes because it's right in front of your face. You don't see your own mistakes. If you have the ability to record your gameplay and watch your gameplay as if you were a viewer watching the content creator. See what—
And it's true, by the way. And for those who say I don't have the resources to do that, you do. OBS is free, Streamlabs is free. If you're on console, you can just use the in-game record feature that records every 30 seconds or every minute, and just record the moments that were goal score opportunities that you missed, or was on defense where you allowed a goal, and just watch it. Because when you're playing the game, you're not really you're locked in on that moment. But when you view the game, you can pinpoint, okay, this is where I fucked up at. Which is why it's easier to be a viewer than it is to be the player. If you watch my videos, you can pinpoint where I'm making mistakes at, as making lose the ball, things like that, or fuck the ball defense, because you're watching the video. You're not playing. You can analyze individually what's going on there. You can pause and things like that. Do it for your own gameplay. Look at your gameplay and see what you're doing wrong, and go from there. Analyze your own gameplay and be honest about it. That's it for me. Hope you all enjoyed this reaction. Like I said before, if you want to see reactions on my older content, feel free to go through the catalog and see what's in there. But hey, I actually think it would be cool for you to bring up this video in 2026 and go from there. So, I'll catch you guys next video. Be Archer. See you guys out here. Deuces.